All right, Archer, watch this and listen. All right, so what did I want to show you, man? What did I want to show you? That was Brahms's first symphony. Makes me cry to think of it. Brahms was right after Beethoven, and he composed chamber music. That means for a few instruments in a room, and did not compose his first symphony until he was age 40, because he said in his diary or wherever, I feel those footsteps following me everywhere I go. Who? Ludwig van Beethoven. He felt the power of Beethoven was so immense that Brahms did not dare to compose a symphony, only chamber pieces, until he was age 40. And in that first piece, no one taught me this, but this is what I've always felt. That's his first symphony. And in order to create his first symphony, he had to pound against the door to break down the wall. That symphony begins with the kettle drum of the bong, 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 before it finally opens the space for him to continue the symphony. Now, I can show you other symphonies that use the drum in a much more strident way. But for me, the very opening of the symphony like that, to me, always, that's my invented story about that symphony. It always spoke to me after reading about how Brahms was. And this is Nitsan's moment to break through like Brahms did 27 years later, but still good. So now I'm going to show you all the things on this whiteboard, and afterwards I will make it written so it's anchored in numbers, etc. So now I have an offer for small business owners. My service is helping small business owners plan their exit if they are facing retirement. Too many of them, they didn't plan, they come to the edge, they're about to retire, they can't continue, their heart says, can't continue this way. But they have no plan, so all they can do is close, and it's a tragedy for them because they never get paid for all the years that they've built up this business. Number two, the reputation dies with them. Number three, all of these loyal employees to the street, and clients who had relationship with this business and the way it's done to the winds. Okay, now what I can do is plan it with them so they have a number of choices. One of them might be that I buy them. Another might be that I help them get sold for better than they would in other options. In other words, my partner can get them $1 million more. So who am I going to go to in order to find these people, the people who know who are these people. Because if you walk down the streets, how do you know which business is about to close? Trusted advisors are those CPAs, business lawyers, bankers, insurance people, financial planners. All these people are in tabs with the business owners for a lifetime, and they know when someone is about to retire. Now, they aren't the people with the tools to do anything about it, and I'm the secret weapon that they can bring in. So I have to, my plan is to contact them using LinkedIn and other methods and say to them, you've got just the solution you want. I have a very quick process that helps these people plan for their exit, and all opens up possibilities. And some of them I can actually actualize. I can either find them someone who will buy it, or find them someone who will help them prepare the business. And some of them I can't help, but some of them I can. So who do you know, if let's say you're a CPA, it costs you nothing to go through your list and refer these people to me. It costs you almost no time, no money. And if these people are unhelpable, let's say if you wouldn't have me, these businesses would close and you'd lose a client. If you send them to me and we can do something, if they sell the business, you get a finder's fee on a sale that's millions of dollars. It's worth something. If we can't sell them or buy them, then at very least, you are the hero who helped them at the end do the best they could. And that builds your reputation, and you're the hero. So this is my offer. And how am I going to get to these people? I've got a program on LinkedIn that can reach out. And all I have to do now is create the sequence of what do I say after they say whatever they say, what are the videos or whatever I'm going to send. So in order to prepare that's stage one. I have to prepare the sequence, okay? And for that, I've thought about creating a movie where it becomes tangible for the advisor. So I make a movie in which I say, look what's going to happen. Because just words don't have the effect of stories. Just giving a benefit, like saying $1 million isn't as powerful as with these $1 million. What are you going to do with it? You'll have a vacation, you'll have a car, you'll have a boat, you'll have 15 virgins. All right, so here's the timeline. The timeline would be, I show how long it takes him to make the list. Then how long does it take to connect me with that, refer me the client? How will he feel? How will the client feel to get this service from the CPA? How will the CPA feel when his client thanks him? Then how will he feel when I sell the business or do something with it so that he gets a kickback of some finder's fee or whatever? How will he feel when he gets a testimonial from his client who was going to close and actually got something for his business instead? And then finally, what's the reputation going to be in the marketplace and among his clientele when they hear, you know what, not only does he help us with our business while we're around, but he actually helps us at the very end when most CPAs have nothing to offer. All right, that's number one, and I will make the timeline written and list it. Now, these are people I'm going to contact as my social proof. These are people who can say, you know what, Nitsan, if you want to know about what Nitsan can do by sitting with a business owner, these guys will say, I sat with Nitsan in 1 hour. And then in 1 hour, it was just amazing what clarity I got. And in a few hours, it's amazing what an action plan I got. Then I have a separate program, which is about Simon the Prophet. It's a program which allows me to present little skits that are going to transform the landscape of comedy. And it leads into training people how to be and accept themselves and move forward and be American based on comedy as opposed to training. So Tony Robbins does it his way. I'm going to approach it from the way of entertainment and comedy. And where do I begin? I have to begin, right? So what I've been doing is making these little skits on my phone. It's about Simon the Prophet. And if you look here, you know, every time I have an idea, I just talk it into my phone. And I have, every second I get an idea, I just keep it putting in my phone. So I have a lot of material already, and it's time that I bring it out and begin sharing it. So I will make a timeline of when I begin sharing it and how. Number 3, or this is 2, this is 3. Now 4, this is a timeline of January to November. Does November say anything to you? Think, time's up. Here's how it goes. These are quarters. So there are 3 quarters. In November 3rd, just a hint, there's an election. That is the greatest time for anyone who wants to do something that can create viral comedy. Now, I'm looking to launch on the election, for the election, to have a month. But before I get there, let's work all the way back. We're in January. So between January, February, March, April, by April, I will have grown my persona, Simon the Prophet, online and in person. Okay? So there will be this entity, there will be a clear personality. I will have grown my personal brand. People will know about this guy, Simon the Prophet, and what he is preaching. Now, from April, May, June, what happens on July 4th? You know. So once I've got my persona, I will be telling people on July 4th, we're going to have a special event. So it builds up to a special event. And I've been planning this for years. There will be a special event. And then between July, August, September, what happens in September? Tell me. On September 11th is another event. And then there's another event on September, and then I announce the event that's going to be 3 days later on September 17th. Do you know what happened on September 17th? I'll bet you anything you don't know what happened on September 17th, because I didn't know until I looked it up. September 17th is when the Constitutional Congress finally finished the Constitution. And if I'm wrong, it's where they began, but I think it's when they ended. So on that date is so important that people in America, that Americans really have a connection to the Constitution, and I can do it. I know how to create a program that people want to go to because it's so entertaining, and they actually will learn for the first time in their lives, really, how is it constructed? How is it created? And they will participate in my mock Constitutional Congress. All right? Now, all of this time I'm growing my constituency, my following on Facebook and YouTube. And from September 11th, from September 17th, I begin to announce the launch of a special program for Americans that begins in October. So on the 2nd, they're about 2 weeks before October. And on October, we begin a month-long program that's going to open up the topic of how to vote. Like everybody's shouting at one another and saying, we can't discuss it. But see, I can open up the conversation and create a discussion. Because I'm not going to take sides. I'm going to give people an actual step-by-step program of how to examine the issues. There you have it. And I will now write it out. And most importantly, this is not finished. So I will write you out the action steps that I commit to that have to deal with the nearest, shortest, let's say I will give it to you, my program. It has to be most specific for the first week of February, okay? And the rest is more general. And now I'll write it out. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know you've enjoyed it.